Trump's policies nearly flooded out farmers in Tulare, California. And also, he might have been the one that actually made the call, not just his policies are responsible for it. So here's what happened. This is Tulare right down in here, and this is where the high profile in the media fires are happening. The Army Corps of Engineers up here released a bunch of water out of the dams, like opened them at full capacity, and gave a 1 hour notice to local officials. The problem is that there were farmers downstream that weren't notified. And in all the time of these local officials working there, some of them 20 years, they've never been given an hour's notice. So local officials had to scramble to get a bunch of these people out of there and notify them because the Army Corps opened the gates on these dams all the way open. Luckily, after fighting with them for some time, they were able to get the federal officials to actually slow down the amount of volume coming out of these dams. Now, the federal officials are citing Donald Trump's policies, his economic ones that he just signed in, but also somebody that's managing this district in here said that, quote, the call came from above. So did Trump make that call? Did someone in the White House? Don't know. But Trump's policies are responsible because that's what they're citing. The Army Corps is like, well, we had to release water from the dams because we're expecting rain. And the local officials were like, you have enough capacity. You can take in all that water without releasing any. Even worse, there are aqueducts that come down to Southern California, and nobody has cited whether or not that water's actually going to make it to those aqueducts to come south. Nobody's responded. So I think the answer is no. And this is funny because the Republicans cited that Newsom had let a bunch of water come out of the Sacramento Valley because of environmental reasons during the floods, like last year, the year before, saying, well, they would have had water down here, despite the fact that they didn't have local water pressure because the elevation, they ran out of that. It's not that they didn't have the water. But Republicans screamed that Newsom released water and therefore it caused this. Trump has now just done the same thing out of Tulare, except that water's not for environmental reasons, not for any reason, it's just political. He literally, to say that he's trying to fight fires in California, dumped a bunch of water out to the ocean for no reason. It's not going anywhere. Now, will you see Republicans cover that and say that Donald Trump just wasted a bunch of water out of the reservoirs in California? No. No, you won't. Luckily, the Army Corps did slow the amount of water that they were sending out, but they just dumped a bunch of water out for no reason. And when you think Californians had, like, in the last 10 years, 8 of them have been droughts, having water in these reservoirs for years to come is incredibly important. So if you guys don't have water in the future out of these lakes, you can go ahead and blame part of that on Trump.